Sorry. We still need an intro song. We've added distortion to the ukulele. We
Yeah,
also added. Wait, what else you got? Wait, what's the other one? Let's see here.
Reverb?
Oh yeah. We got. Let's see here.
You can't play that here, sir.
Okay. And that is our intro song until somebody sends us another intro song. We need a new one. Um, until then, I believe this thing has 300 sounds.
it only has 80.
It has 80 presets.
Oh, 80 presets, yeah.
Okay, and then supposedly it's got other stuff. I believe it even has drums on it.
Ooh.
So who knows? Again, please send us um, an intro song for the podcast. Or not. We're just going to keep trying these different things, whatever it is that we're doing. And with that, welcome to Pontification Station. We seem to be having. I guess you can kill that, Javier. Is that where the sound is coming from? I don't know. We seem to be having some issues with sound, but yeah, we're going anyway. It doesn't matter. So I do apologize if you have responsibility. Wow, that's beautiful. If we have
Does it go without trying something?
yeah, if you have issues with the sound, don't worry about it. We do too. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Is the beginning. It's our first one in 2020. That's right. It's 2020. For those of you listening in the future, in the year 2035, um, on whatever podcast or social media you're listening to this on there, because it is available on most things. So today we are each bringing in something that we found interesting, whether it's trivia or just something random that we found interesting regarding gaming or geekery of some sort. And
My favorite thing to do.
you know what? Since it's your favorite, we'll let you go first.
Oh.
Bodied. Anyway, so
Do you
go
really
ahead.
want?
What did
Do,
you find interesting this week, sir? By the way, this is
I
Stephen B. Tyler. For those of you who are wondering who the marvelous voice is, the
not to
B
be
stands for
confused,
adventure.
not to be confused with B Arthur.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my little fun fact, I didn't actually realize this. I mean, it makes sense now that I think about it, but I never really caught on to it. The phrase "gotta catch 'em all" stopped appearing after Pokemon Crystal on the Pokemon games. That was "gotta catch 'em all" is the famous tagline for the Pokemon series. So Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Silver, Gold, Crystal all has the tagline "gotta catch 'em all," for the title. Every game afterwards doesn't have that catchphrase.
And what year was that?
2001?
That's a good question, right?
Yeah, Pokemon Crystal came out in 2001.
So since 2000,
Or 2002.
So for those of you again new to the podcast, what's happening is we send each other the main point, and then we kind of just go from there. So that's what he sent me. And Javier,
And correct myself, came out in Japan 2000, 2001 internationally. December 2000, so might as well just be 2001.
okay.
Yeah.
I from what I could see, it was first used in 2018. The phrase
First used?
Yeah.
No, they may have reused it. I'm talking about for the games.
Right. For the games, yeah. I thought 2018 was. I could see it then. It had been used for at least 10 games.
2018, or is that referring to maybe Pokemon Go, which that tagline would be used again?
I don't know. In 2001, yeah, it might have been the resurgence of it. Because I saw in 2001, obviously the song came out with 50 grind. I I went looking to see if he had any other songs. Um, is it strange to say that that was probably the heaviest song he had, where it's got to catch 'em all? Like
Probably.
the rest of his music was very pop rock. Like I mean, very very pop. Gotta Catch 'Em All compared to the rest of his music was like extremely heavy.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was he was going hardcore in the video.
Yeah. Gotta catch 'em
Um,
all.
so I started looking around to find out why, if there were any specific reasons to why they got rid of it.
all. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys found, but it's
No, I found it.
what did you find? Because I'm curious what you found about that.
According to Bulbapedia, which is like one of the primary websites for Pokemon information next to Smoggin, the slogan was temporarily retired from the Pokemon games around 2003 with the release of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Instead of the now familiar phrase appearing below the Pokemon logo, the game's version name appeared there instead. This held true for the remaining games of Generation 3 and would later prove to be standard with the release of Generation 4 Diamond Pearl. The retirement was possibly due to the large amount of Pokemon now required to get captured to complete the
That's what
National
I saw.
Pokedex.
I saw
386 at the time the slogan was retired.
I
It made
saw
me, yeah.
that social media kind of went crazy on this and started like putting all kinds of memes of like you got to buy them all. Um,
Mm.
and I think the whole you got to buy them all kind of got to them eventually, and I guess yeah, it went to like what
No,
at the
this is before all that.
at the time it was
Fortunately,
what 386 of them.
386 up to Ruby and Sapphire.
Wow. So yeah, so that
It's a
was,
lot.
and the other reason that I heard, well not heard, read, uh, was when the next round came out, they wouldn't be able to get the old ones for some reason. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the other reason why they dropped the slogan, because it was actually impossible to get them all at that point when they
Yeah.
released those games.
Yeah, it says the I can't talk. Wait.
Incompatibility.
Thank you very much. Incompatibility between the Generation 2 and Generation 3 games. As all the Pokemon known of the third generation were not available between Ruby and Sapphire. So you couldn't catch them all even if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Nope.
So it made sense to go ahead and drop that out of there.
Although you could still say gotta catch all of the ones in the game.
Well,
That's
if it
not
makes
as
you feel
catchy.
any better, the slogan for the 1999 Burger King promotional Pokemon toys was "Gotta catch 'em here."
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's right, because they were in their version of the Happy Meal.
Burger King owned Pokemon at that point. Like any other Pokemon toy in any other fast food restaurant was poopy compared to Burger King. Burger King was on top of. Burger King also had Pokemon Snap kiosks in their Burger King restaurant, so that if you play Pokemon Snap, you can have your stuff printed out.
That's wild.
Because that's back in the day, we didn't have that as an option. You couldn't just like go on your computer and print out your stick in your N64 game. So you actually had to use a memory card that you put into the controller at that time, and then you take it to Burger King or Blockbuster. Blockbuster also had them. That's actually where I went to go take care of my Pokemon Snap stuff, was on at my local Blockbuster.
That's pretty cool.
Oh,
Let me see if I can find it.
So again, this being Pontification Station, we pontificate and we kind of take side trails and squirrel and all this stuff. And going back to an older podcast, guys, go check them out. We talked about memory cards, and you just brought up memory cards. I hadn't even thought about the fact that Microsoft, in essence, is bringing memory cards back
with the SSDs that they use for the series. Technically, yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what they are. They look like an old PS2 memory card.
Mm-hmm.
They're about the same size as the old PS2 memory cards, but they got what, like a terabyte in those suckers? You remember?
That's insane.
The little PS2. How much memory did those little PS2 memory cards hold? It was
megabytes.
It was 8 megabytes.
And now same size, because I just got the Xbox S, and I was looking at that. Yeah, they basically have like a little memory card, just like the old PS2 memory card, same size, but it holds 1 terabyte. That's crazy.
That's a lot of data for a tiny little pack.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it is.
although my side, my side little tidbit about Pokemon is that it's actually the trading card game specifically was actually banned in Saudi Arabia.
What?
Any guesses
Not
as to
surprised.
why?
No.
Because
of
on the original
religious
cards,
reasons.
the little energy symbol, quote unquote, resembles the Star of David, and that
Oh,
was
yep.
that was a no-no. So
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It has one extra point, so not really, but yeah, I can see where
It
at first
resembles
glance,
enough to where Saudi Arabia said
I can see
no.
we're an older person who just takes things at first glance. Yeah,
yeah.
I can
And
see it being controversial.
therefore,
It's like the
banned. The
Ocarina of
trading
Time
card game,
Muslim
the
chant.
physical copies, and also online the online game.
Wow. Look, I'm moving. Anyway, very cool. Oh, look! By the way, for those of you listening on the podcast, you can't see this, but maybe you can hear how beautiful our picture looks.
Yeah,
Because
it's a beautiful sounding.
yeah, it's a beautiful sounding
sounding.
video.
Like a work of art.
Yeah. So we got a new computer, and now we can actually use the good camera as opposed to the webcam. So now you're listening to us through the Shure mic as opposed to the webcam also. So
Oh yeah.
Hot stuff.
Yeah,
Hot
it's a beautiful
stuff.
thing.
Hot
Beautiful
stuff.
thing.
We've
And-
always been through the Shure mic though.
Yes, the Shure mic has always been good. Well, the stream and the podcast can hear us through the Shure mic, but Steven was being forced to listen to us through the webcam mic because it would override it, I think, at times. I don't know. I know he was saying he was having issues with that. And speaking of issues, let's move on to the next point here. Are you ready? I'll take this one.
Yeah.
My interesting fact that I found out this week / trivia is Aerosmith made more money from gaming royalties with Guitar Hero than they did on any album they ever sold. Now,
True.
so I have a little bit of a music background, and I had to get all geek on this and really dig in to find out because it sounded so crazy for Aerosmith to have made more money. Um, so follow me here as I explain some of the math. I mean, again, let's go back to um, Guitar Hero was exploding at the time. I mean, it was, and Aerosmith was. I mean, they'd always been around, but Guitar Hero really brought them back to the forefront as far as music is concerned. In 2007, they licensed 29 songs to Activision. Okay, they made more money from those 29 songs than they did on any album. Their biggest selling album was Toys in the Attic. Okay, now I'll get a little geek here so that everybody can understand, because again, I had to dig a little bit further to find out, just because I had to. It's just too interesting for me. The average major label pays anywhere from 50 cents to 55 cents per album. Okay, not a whole lot. Top guys like Garth Brooks will make over $1, so you can make $1.20, $1.50 per album, but it's rare. So let's just say 10%, 15%, just for kicks. As far as let's give them a little extra money because they weren't making 10 to 15%, but let's just say 10 to 15% per album. They sold $80 million worth of Toys in the Attic. Sorry, they sold 8 million copies. Okay, so approximately $80 million of that. You end up doing the math. They made about 12 million bucks because of the percentage from Toys in the Attic. In the first 3 months of Guitar Hero, the Aerosmith edition, there, in the first 3 months, they sold 50 million. Now, here's the catch: those bundles were going from $89 to $109, and they were making about 40% on those.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money.
Yes, so
Or
that
royalty.
$50 million at
That noise is back, by the way.
40% ended up being closer to 20 million bucks as opposed to the $12 million they made off of the 80 million that they sold in albums. So even though they sold 80 million in albums and only 50 in the game, now mind you, again, that's just the first 3 months. Who knows how much they sold later? Because I didn't even bother to look. But just in 3 months, they made 20 million off of the game, and it's just crazy.
Well, you say the first 3 months. The crazy thing is that they sold just over 500,000 in a week.
That was
Five-
peak Guitar Hero's popularity, and that's actually what was its downfall. They
Five
pulled a
hundred
Telltale Games.
67,000
Yeah. They made
units sold in a week.
it was insane, and again, because they were dropping them at $89 to $109 depending on which version you got. 40% of that it's a whole lot of money. I mean, they were killing it. You know, I mean, so anyway, so that was just really really interesting to me.
Although you want to know what game sold more in just under or in a week, the first week of its release?
Grand Theft Auto.
No, the Beatles Rock Band.
Oh,
yeah.
That sold almost
I didn't know we were still on the Rock Band.
100,000 units. It was the second highest. Okay, let me read this. Total sales across all platforms in the United States was 595,000 units, with revenue between $59 and 59 and 60 million. And it was the second highest revenue generating game behind Halo 3 ODST, driven by sales of bundle units. So, out of all the Xbox 360 bundles, second highest revenue generating bundle.
Wow. And by the way, again, just because we go all over the place with this thing, just to give Aerosmith some credit, on a side note, Aerosmith was actually one of the only bands to have all the members be partners. So they split everything equally for all four of them, which I thought was really cool. Like for instance, just to kind of give a comparison here, Kiss, the only members of the band were Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Ace Frehley and Peter Criss were actually hired musicians. They got paid just like the the rest of the crew got paid.
Yeah.
They were just employees. As a matter of fact, in I think it was 2019, Gene Simmons was in an interview, and he was saying that both of those guys have been fired 3 times. So he literally just referred to them like just employees. They've been fired 3 times. He's like, I wouldn't mind playing with them, but they'll never be part of Kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it, again, just to on a random note, just to give Aerosmith a little bit of credit, it was really cool to see a group be a group. That all of them were partners equally in that, as opposed to two guys who are partners. And like when I started looking for this, I would have never guessed that Ace Frehley was not technically, a member.
They were all the same thing.
Yeah, he was not a member. He was just a hired musician, and he was there. He was there from day one. It wasn't like, I understand in the later years when Ace Frehley and Peter Criss were gone, and they picked up other guitarists
Yeah.
and other drummers. I understand those guys being hired, but when two of your founding guys, were there from the get go, and they weren't part of the technically members of the band, it was weird. But on another side note, I had to go looking for other good music games and bad music games. And I really didn't find a whole lot when I was starting to search in good music games, because I just kind of got stuck in Space Channel 5 because it's just one of my favorite ridiculous music games.
It's a good
I
one.
mean, how often do you get to be a reporter who saves hostages by dancing?
Yeah.
So if you
Every
haven't
time.
checked out Space Channel 5, it's great. I played it on the Dreamcast. I don't even remember what else it was, if it was available on anything else.
It's
Uh,
at ports.
but
PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance.
yeah, but I originally played it on the Dreamcast. That was so much fun. However, I did look for worst music games ever, and I guess the major complaint about this game, even though it was bad, it was that it sounded like it was going to be a music game, but it wasn't a music game. It was called Rap Jam Volume 1. Good news, there was never a Volume 2 released,
Oh no.
even though there was a Volume 1. Um, but it was a basketball game. Much
Okay.
much like NBA Jam, but it was 3v3, and it had players like Coolio, House of Pain, LL Cool J, Naughty by Nature, Public Enemy with Flavor Flav himself,
And Queen Latifah.
and Queen Latifah.
I'm looking at the game right now.
So
Dude, go watch some video of this game. It's as bad as it
For
sounds.
Super Nintendo.
this was just somebody putting Def Jam and NBA Jam together.
Yeah. Basically, they decided to do Def Jam and NBA Jam together, and yeah, it didn't do well.
I wonder why.
I can't imagine it doing well.
I saw some of the videos. It was not a good thing. It was definitely not a good thing.
Yeah, no, who goes, let's do this. This is what the kids want, right?
Every time.
That's exactly.
I don't understand. Like, speaking of this is what the kids want,
Do
going
tell.
back to Pikachu, why did they change Pikachu's design? Chubby
one of-
Pikachu was so good,
It's one of man's greatest falls, I know.
and like
Yes.
he's adorable now, but he's not chubby Pikachu.
Not the same. It's not the same.
Maybe they just wanted him to be more emotive, because everybody like kind of clung to Pikachu as like the Pokemon,
Perhaps.
and they're like, oh, we want him to do more things, but he can't do so many things because he's a literal. He's like an
Right.
RPG slime. He's just a blob.
Right.
So
No, but I think the tubbier pre-diet Pikachu's a lot better design wise. I think it's cuter.
it's a lot happier Pikachu.
You're saying the chubbier one is happier?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, have you seen chubby Pikachu?
He does look happier.
There he is.
Oh, look at that.
That's not Pikachu.
That's amazing.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
No, that's Meryl from Generation 2, although should have been in Generation 1 and was teased in the Mewtwo movie. Ba-da-ba. Yep. The almost every Pokemon movie has like a slice of life kind of introduction where like the Pokemon are just having like a goofy little adventure, and the slice of life one for the first movie introduced Meryl and Snowball. Not Snowball. What's his name? The dog, like the first, like obviously like a pit bull
Oh.
Pokemon kind of thing.
Yeah, Snubble.
Snubble, yeah. Shout out Snubble. I mean, of course we had Togepi, which was like the other, like, hey, more Pokemon are coming.
I
kind
love
of.
Togepi.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of Snubble though.
He's all right. His evolution's cool. Ain't no more.
Javier says, nah.
Yeah,
Not
well,
bad.
I like Pitbull, so.
You know, I'm actually.
Just
I wish
dogs.
that they would do. Didn't they say that they were going to do more Detective Pikachu movies?
Maybe.
Because
I'm not sure.
or like more like movies along that line. Because
Right, like live action, quote unquote.
Yeah, because I think that would be cool. I think they did a really good job with the designs of the Pokemon.
Oh yeah, and then like you realize like, oh wait, oh yeah, Pikachu I guess is furry. Oh yeah, Jigglypuff is just a ball of fur.
And then you like look at and see how like scaly and slimy Bulbasaur is, and you're like, why are you still so adorable?
Yeah, well, I mean, I always have a soft spot for Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur's so good. My Discord profile picture for a while was somebody made like a poinsettia Bulbasaur.
Oh yeah.
They made like a bunch of Christmas ones, and I just made that one.
Heck yeah, yeah, Bulbasaur wholesome. Unlike Angel.
Nope, I'm awful.
He's trying to look up another janker list.
Oh man, this is gonna be a beautiful thing. You know, guys, we're getting to the part where I just torture people.
That's all it's ever been. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, let's see. So, let's see here. Top 10.
Top 10.
This is how we do this.
Top 10 lists that you don't want to have to deal with.
All right.
So
this is the part where I ask questions.
Guesses you won't guess correctly.
Exactly. But you know what? We're gonna go with this. Now you're gonna have to be patient with me because I gotta scroll here. You know.
No.
I'm not patient at all. That's the problem.
Having said that, we're gonna start with top 10 Pokemon characters.
Oh my God! You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that at all.
That's what we're doing.
Popularity, or are we talking like
3?
He said
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you something here. I'm gonna give you a little bit of something. 3, 4. Okay, 4.
Number 1, Ash's mom. Number 2, Ash's mom. Number 3, Ash's mom. Number 4, Ash's mom.
He's got it going.
Okay, so only 4 of them.
By
only 4 of them are humans, humanoid at the very least. Okay, so only 4 of them are humanoid. This is top 10 Pokemon characters. This is the part of the show where we torture these guys, or where I torture these guys.
I feel like Pokemon's being a brat right now.
Let's see. Javier started slow in the last quarter of 2021, and then came through with like 3 wins in a row to take the win of basically the fourth quarter of 2021. So we're starting a whole new quarter here.
Oh boy.
So nobody has any lead or any losses here. Let me see. But Steven, since you are our guest, I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, that's the reason.
I'm gonna let you go first here.
Well,
who do you think is in the top 10?
I'm gonna do a safe choice, and I'm gonna say Barack. He's laughing because he's not on the list, right?
Barack,
there's 4 humans on the list, but he's not on there?
There's 4 humans on the list, and Barack is number 8. So you start strong. Again, and for those of you just joining us, this is backwards feud. It's messed up feud. The lower the character is, the more points you get because they're harder to get. So, yeah, he's all the way down at 8. So you got 8 points already. All right, what's your next guess here?
Next guess will be James.
You said James?
James. Jimothy.
I do not believe there's a James on the list, sir.
Oh. You're welcome.
There is no James on the list. So he's got 8 points, Javier. What do you got?
It's Pikachu!
Oh. Pikachu is number 1.
Yeah, enjoy your free 1 point.
You're 1
Ash.
point. You got 1 point. Wait.
You're literally just gonna go down the list of names.
Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to remember exactly what point it was. Ash is definitely on there. I'm just trying to remember how many
long is
points
that
you
list?
get for Ash here.
Oh, is it like a?
You get 7
full
points
biopic?
for Ash. Ash is 7th on the list.
Misty.
So it's 8-8 right now. Javier says Misty is number 5. So you got 13 points, and that is
all the humans.
That's all the humans. No, wait.
Also,
No, there's one more.
There's one more human in there.
Oh, we said 4.
So you got 12 points, right? 12 points, yeah. No, 13. I can't add. 13. So it's 13-8 right now.
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo is number 3. So you got 16 points. 16-8.
Jigglypuff?
I don't know. No Jigglypuff in the top 10.
Understandable.
So, all right. So 16-8. What do you have, Steven?
Charizard.
Charizard was number 2. So 16-10.
Gengar?
He's making a comeback. He was making a comeback. That is not in the top. Wait, no. Not in the top 10.
I am misery.
Not in the top 10 either. No.
I am forlorn.
All right, Javier, what you got?
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say May.
May is number 9. Wow. Killing it. 16 plus 9 is 25.
It's just a game. It's over.
That's. I mean, number 10 is still on there. So, 25. No, I think you're done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Javier,
People
what else
are
you got?
thirsty for May.
Huh?
Yeah, that's the problem. I just don't know like what part of the internet this is like pulling from. Is it the thirsty part of the internet or
Blastoise?
No Blastoise. All right, Steven, what you got?
Jesse?
Jesse.
No, that's all the.
No, all the humanoids are gone.
Oh, duh, because May was the last human. Duh.
Yep.
Duh.
I'll give you another one.
Give me another one. Togepi.
No.
We like Togepi.
Everyone likes Togepi. I don't see what the problem is.
All right, since Javier locked this one down, Javier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, King Jobber, I agree with you. My head is also like,
Yo, what's up, Jobber?
All right, we got 2 felines and 1 canine and 1 who knows what that is.
So Meowth.
We have, I'll tell you straight from the top. You missed the top 10 and these guys losing, but here's what we have. Number 1, Pikachu. Number 2, Charizard. Number 3, Mewtwo. Surprised nobody said that one. Number 4, Mew. We got a Mewtwo and a Mew.
Mew.
Number 5, Misty. 6.
Oh, Arceus.
Arceus, thank you.
Who cares about Arceus?
Well, obviously
I guess
enough
when the new
to
game
put him
comes
number
out,
6.
maybe.
7, Ash.
Hop honey.
Number 8, Brock. 9, May. And 10 was
Oh, Arcanine.
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 I like Arcanine, but I didn't realize that Arcanine was that popular.
Yeah,
No, I'm aware Arceus is God, but like that's what makes him boring. It's like, all right, he just does things. You can't get a personal relationship with Arceus. He's omniscient. He's omni everything.
He's just Omni. So that is best Pokemon characters top 10 list. According to the 3rd page of Google. Um, hey, I don't want to make this too easy. I don't want to pick like something obvious like the first page of Google.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But
We gotta keep this interesting, so that way nobody can just jump in and know exactly what's happening.
Now, let me
so,
guess. You still have your old game that you were planning to do for this week.
yes,
I'm guessing.
Oh, what was
I'm,
that? I don't even remember what that was.
I'm still surprised Gardevoir wasn't number one.
You don't remember the? I'm sure you had another list because that was all.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I did have another game. Oh, I know what it was. It was the game where we get to argue.
Oh, you were gonna use that one.
Yeah. So we have another game that's coming up. I don't know if we'll use it this time, but I think it's in the closet. I don't know. Um, Basically, we pick random cards, and one of them is like kindergarten class, and the other one is like with invisibility. And the other person picks a random card, and it'll be like, I don't know, bus driver and flying powers or whatever. And then we have to argue as to who would win the fight between the two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
down for that.
And then
Also, that buzzing noise is back.
yeah, and then you'll have to be the judge. Oh, the buzzing noise is back. I'm pretty sure it was King Jobber.
It was. I see you.
So with that, let's
Killing
go ahead
cables.
and move on to the third point this week. What is your point?
My point is that the original Assassin's Creed was actually going to be a Prince of Persia spin-off. So it was originally going to follow a female assassin who was entrusted with protecting a prince in Jerusalem. However, they weren't really fond of the game as the development went on because it didn't spend enough time on the prince, according to what I read. So they ended up scrapping the project, and then they ended up reusing ideas and assets in order to make the Assassin's Creed that we know right now.
What did you find, Mr. Steven? I know you said something about you were following it. So tell me about this following thing.
Like when I was a kid, I followed it. So Game Informer, if I recall.
Wait. Did you want the digital copy or the hard copy?
This is back then, so this would be hard copy. The Prince of Persia. This is during Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and Two Towers, which was 2003 to 2006. This was 15 years ago. So before they were doing digital copies and all that. But yeah, no, I was a huge fan of Prince of Persia back then because I loved that edgy crap when I was a kid because I was 14. And yeah, I was all over it. So I kept watching Game Informer. It was doing like every time they released their monthly magazine, they had like some small update on progress of that, and then they changed it. And then it was quiet for a while, and then the next Game Informer magazine, the front issue was Assassin's Creed, and then they went like the whole like literally 20-page article exclusive on Assassin's Creed, and they were breaking down the history, and it was verbatim what Javi said. Basically, it was an Assassin's Creed project. In fact, it was called Prince of Persia Assassins. And if I recall, there was like a multiplayer that they were playing around with as well, where it was a bunch of people just trying to kill each other in assassin ways. So like people sneaking up on each other and within like a team deathmatch kind of style. And that was like a thing that they were playing
really
around with.
Funny because they actually ended up doing that in, I think Brotherhood was the first one with online multiplayer like that.
It was either that or Revelations, one of the ones with Ezio, where I personally checked out.
Yeah, it's one of the two.
Yeah. So yeah, that was actually really cool. Like watching the low development of that, and then them just doing a 180 and just focusing on a whole other narrative that was story focused.
Random, and we'll get back to the whole Assassin's Creed thing. This is somewhat interesting in there. But speaking of games that never happened, I just had a flashback. One of the games that I was really, really looking forward to because they kept talking about it, was Stargate. And there was all this talk about Stargate happening, blah, blah, blah. And then it just never happened. And in one of the episodes of Stargate, I'd have to look it up to be honest with you, because again, this is just straight out of memory
Yeah,
because we watched all of Stargate. I mean,
great series.
all of them. The original. We watched the later ones.
I
We
just
watched
I
every
just I
single
just
one.
watched the original over and over again. I didn't
We
watch
watched
it.
all the other ones too. But the funny thing about SG1, I think it was on SG1
It was SG1.
that there was a kid playing the game that was never released. So it was really funny because you could see the kid playing it.
Was it that, or was it the one where they were doing the VR training?
Yeah, so the game showed up in a couple places. It showed up once, um, just in the main room, and you could see it in the background. It's just on one of the computers.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was another one. I do believe is what they were doing is they were trying to figure out how to solve something. So they made this video game in hopes that some super geek out there would figure out how to solve it because they didn't really have a solution to the game. But they figured whoever the kid was or the adult was that figured out the solution, they'd bring them in. So that was one of them. Um, it was used that way. And then there was one where it was like they were doing some kind of VR thing, and they
Yeah.
were in the game. So again, the game was used there. I was so disappointed the game never happened. It was one of those
Well,
games that I never expected it to be good,
that kind of reminded
but I
me.
would have enjoyed it anyway.
It reminds me of that fake game that was in Grandma's Boy that the main character was creating, and that the villain stole the copy of and claimed it was his. Did you guys ever see Grandma's Boy?
No, I did not.
Interesting. Yeah, it's actually it's one of the Adam Sandler movies, but doesn't have Adam Sandler in it. It's just like all of his friends instead. It's actually not bad. It's a cult classic. It actually has like a cult following, like the Billy Madison movies and Wonder Boy and all that. But it's about a game designer.
Yeah.
But one
And
who's Adam
speaking
Sandler
of
voice.
cult classics, just for those of you listening to the podcast, we do go live on gote.tv every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Or you can just go to Twitch and look up Gamers on the Edge. And I say that because I'm looking at the chat, and we have King Jobber in the house. It's really funny because he's a Dark Souls guy, um, which means I am surrounded by Dark Souls right now because all both Javier and Steven do like the Dark Souls, and I got Jobber over here on the stream, so we got Dark Souls everywhere.
I like him a little too much.
Shout outs to all you people who are gluttons for punishment.
Nom 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 nom.
Listen, I remember when Javier was younger, we always had the computer in the living room, and I could see Javier playing, and I was like, "Didn't you die there the last 4 times?" He's like, "Yeah." Okay, I'm just making sure I did see this correctly.
It's how it be sometimes.
But back to Assassin's Creed, and being what it was never meant to be. I don't know. I liked Assassin's Creed. I think it started well, and then it just kind of like got a little crazy. I mean,
That was an Activision move, or not Activision, a Ubisoft move. I guess move is still applicable. But yeah, that was a Ubisoft decision to milk the franchise into oblivion.
I think one of the things that they did is they tried to make it. They tried to make you as the player feel cooler by having these really cool fights, and the way that they decided to do that was to give every enemy an obscene amount of health, so you spent more time fighting enemies rather than just being an assassin and being like, "Hey."
And to make it seem epic, to make it seem even more epic, as the more games come in, more enemies are involved in combat, so it just takes even more time. Now the problem with this Assassin's Creed is it oversaturated itself, and it kind of streamlined mechanics that just don't really work that well, aka tower systems, aka was it the stalking missions, or where you have to let me literally spend 15 minutes walking at a pace that I can't actually control, so I can stalk this one guy, and if he sees me, I'm alerted, or have to follow this guy to listen to a conversation. The game is just padded with so many quests like that are part of the story, so you have no choice but to interact with that, because most of the actual mess around with the traversing a world was locked behind story stuff.
Well, I'll
So
tell you what I really
slow game.
what I liked as far as that kind of movement and things like that. Um, I really liked what Lord of the Rings did
Mm-hmm.
with Shadows of Mordor. Was it?
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor and
Yeah.
Shadow of War.
Yes, they sort of, to me, they took some of the things I liked from Assassin's Creed, and they took some of the things I liked from Batman.
Batman's really the one that kind of perfected that system, at least up until City.
Yeah,
In my
yeah,
opinion, that's where they actually perfected that system.
yeah, and but I think they took a little bit of both of those games, uh, because it had a little bit of the combat, had a little bit of the movement from both of those, and they did a really good job with that. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, honestly, Arkham City has to be one of the best games I've ever played. Like
Yeah, it's up there. It's a
wholesale,
really good game.
it's
Yep.
just a solid game.
We raised
Yep.
a lot of money with Arkham City.
I'm really disappointed that Arkham Knight did a lot of the things that it did with the Batmobile. It used the Batmobile too much. Like if it was just like a thing.
The Batmobile was
there,
more of a the Batmobile was more of a tech demo than it was an actual gameplay feature. It was them just trying to show off the PS4 and Xbox One capabilities at the time. That's how I felt what the Batmobile was for Arkham Knight.
It was just boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, we at Gamers on the Edge, we do fundraising for children's hospitals and sick kids in general. And when I say we raised a lot of money with Arkham City, we really did. Because what we would do is we'd go to Tampa Bay Comic Con and conventions like that, and it was really funny because we were in charge of like 10,000 square feet. But one of the things that we would start doing all the time is we would bring one setup, which is Arkham City, and $1 donation, you would play one of the challenges. Because if you remember, it had all the challenges at the end of the once you unlocked everything. Um, what were they? They were like just little scenes,
They were combat challenges.
Yeah. So you donate $1, and then you get to do the combat challenge, and everybody had a good time because it was a fun challenge, and it was only $1, and then whoever had the high score by the end of the weekend would win something. We'd always had some really cool prizes that were donated, but it was really funny to see people. I mean, we had this one year where these two guys just kept going back and forth, and it was funny because they would leave, and then the other guy would walk in, and he's like, because we always had the score on a whiteboard,
Yeah.
so people would know who had the high score and how much it was. They were like, "Oh man, he beat me!" And it was like, and I just kept hoping like that the guy would beat the other guy by like 5 points, like not by a whole lot, so that the other guy would walk in and be like, "Oh, I can get those 5 points." And that's exactly what happened. Like, it was 3 days of these two guys just dropping dollars, trying to beat each other. I don't even remember what it was that they won, but I'm pretty sure that they donated more than whatever the thing it was that they won actually was worth.
Yeah.
Certainly more than what we paid because it was donated anyway.
Right.
But it was really funny to watch these two guys just go at each other, and it came down to like the last half hour. I think the last half hour, the one guy came back in and beat the score from the other guy. We've had some really good ones like that. Then we've had some bad ideas. They made money, but man, they were torture.
Tycho.
Tycho.
Bad idea.
Tycho. We raised a lot of money with Tycho.
Tycho Drum Master.
Tycho Drum Master, yes. We raised some good money with that. The problem was, it was a 4-day event, and I can't possibly tell you how many times we heard the Britney Spears song. Oh, it was Toxic. It was Toxic. We heard that song. Oh,
you're the one that chose that song.
It was so.
To be fair, it is one of Britney's best songs.
Oh, but it was 4 days of it. It was 4 days of it.
Yeah.
What we should have done is we should have had like 4 prices, like per day. Just like, hey, on Thursday, whoever has the high score on Taiko Drum for this song wins something. Then on Friday, and then on Saturday, and then on Sunday, because 4 days of Toxic was just, it was brutal. It was definitely brutal.
It was definitely not fun at all. Also, that Pikachu's adorable.
Thank you.
He's dancing. Dancing machine. Yeah, baby. And King Jobber, you missed it, man. Somebody's gonna have to send us an intro song. Javier ended up playing some version of Nirvana.
It was the right notes, but there's
But
not
it's
enough
on an
bass in
ukulele,
this thing.
so that's what's happening. But anyway, anything else you guys want to share before we sign off today?
Not really.
I think we're pretty good. We're pretty covered.
I've got nothing.
I got nothing.
I know nothing.
I got nothing.
I see nothing.
I see nothing.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
That is a beautiful thing then. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We are Gamers on the Edge. This is Pontification Station. If you're listening to us on the podcast, you can find the videos on YouTube, Twitch. I've talked about putting them on Facebook. I probably should do that for the people who are on the Facebooker. They're not on MySpace. Sorry. I would like to find MySpace and see if I can open my account again. I know it's in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
MySpace is there. I would love to get a photo of that, like screenshot of my original MySpace. But so if you're listening to it on the podcast, you can join us live. If you're watching us live and you missed any of these, you can go back on the podcast. This is episode 8, so there are another 7 of these. With the marvelous Stephen B. Tyler. The B stands for adventurous.
Stands for B. Arthur.
Correct. And then there's a bunch of other bonus episodes that we've done. Although I think we're going to revisit some of those episodes, Stephen.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So some of those episodes that we did, and let us know what you guys think. But some of those episodes we did were best animes for intro people, like people who've never watched anime. What would be, and don't give me any, because I think we should do this with the 3 of us. What you think would be the best 3 or 5 animes that people should at least get started with to kind of introduce them. We did that. We did top animated movies, as far as what we consider top animated movies, as opposed to Google page 7. So there's some good ideas in some of those old ones that Javier and I did by ourselves that I believe we could revisit, and I think it'd be fun to, especially now that we have a little bit more in our arsenal as far as what we've seen, what we haven't seen, and some new stuff out there.
Yeah.
So with that, we shall sign off. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Love seeing you on the stream. I'm glad you guys are listening on the podcast. We got people from Germany, and I saw the podcast had like 48 downloads in Germany, another like 50 some in France. I don't know who's listening to us in Germany and France, but
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Eric's not even in Germany.
No, I mean, I understand Canada because I know people in Canada, and we have some people out there. Yeah. But Germany and France, I have no clue. But it was really funny because I saw one of our podcasts had like I said, like 48 and 52 or something like that out there. My favorite is when you look at the numbers and it says other. It's like you don't even deserve a country name. You just get other. All right, Javier, give us a sign off. Let's see here. What you got for us? And that's it. Thank you for joining us. Bye.